Hello again, YouTube. Lovell Hawes speaking, and I just gotten back from yesterday where I paid a visit to my mother. She was in a medically induced coma and on a ventilator. And the doctor had actually said it kind of caught them off guard because the decline that she went through actually was a week after where she normally would have if it was 100% COVID related. The doctor even did the gesture of wiping sweat off his forehead because that was normally what they would have done by that particular point. But clearly, yeah, things were not completely in the free and clear. And when I got there, she had been intubated on a ventilator and yeah, clearly because a medically induced coma, so that way she couldn't tear up the equipment or do more harm to herself by moving. And my Granny Rice, she was very devout. Yeah, it was. Aside from when the doctors or one of the nurses would come in, I don't think I ever saw her move. She constantly had a hand on my mother. And I think I saw her a few times bow her head. I'm presuming because she's a very Christian woman praying. And in order to make sure that she, as in my mother, knew I was there, there was a game that my brother and I would play with Mom where we would squeeze each other's hands. And what we would do is we would match each other's squeezes. And it was always a game that made her laugh. And for the first time in my life, she didn't squeeze back. And soon thereafter, my brother did show up, and when that happened, the doctor called us together for a meeting to tell us into a conference room and gave us an update on Mom's situation, where we had a Q&A session with him. And the decisions that my brother and I had to make, because Mom was clearly not responsive and not able to make decisions for herself, was already predefined for us by Mom several times over the years in which we were growing up. Yeah, it's like my brother actually said it himself. The first time he actually remembered this discussion was when he was 8. And he's 28 now. So over the course of 20 years, she had said it several times to the point where my brother and I knew what to do. Yeah, I was like, knew exactly what her wishes are. And while she is still with us and still has a chance of recovering and going home, we did set a DNR because the doctor did point blank say their chances of successful resuscitation are very, very low. And if they did have to resuscitate her, her chances of going home were non existent at that point. So, the rule of thumb what has always been if there is a chance, any chance, that Mom would go home and be able to resume any form of a normal life, that we are to take that chance. And if the chance ever drops to 0, we are to quietly let her go in peace. So, my brother and I both agreed that a DNR was necessary. And even with our grandmother, Mom's mom, and her sister there, our aunt, the decision was still unanimous on the DNR. And it's like Mom's a survivor. She survived lightning not once but twice. She's survived being a stillborn. She's survived sticking her head in a burning car to save a child. And she survived some rather nasty car crashes, among many, many other things. So, the last I heard was 60% chance of mortality, which means 40% chance that she could survive and recover. And with Mom's track record, that's 39% more than she needs. But also, I would like to see more, of course. So, any prayers or just in general good energy you can provide, that would be greatly appreciated. And when it comes to the uploads that I've been doing, I do have some stowed away ahead. So I will still upload what I've already got on a daily basis. So when I'm not seeing my mother, and it's for the moment. She's been on a ventilator for just over 24 hours. And that means we have 2 weeks to get her health in order. Because after 2 weeks, your body becomes dependent upon the ventilator. And you lose the ability to breathe without it. So hopefully things will improve. They do have lab testing going on. And the lab results should be in by now. At least the initial results. Hopefully they will yield something that actually makes it so that way we know what's going on. And along with the Q&A session, I actually learned a great deal more about the nature of COVID and part of what makes it so incredibly dangerous compared to everything that we've seen up to that's in our common disease list. And I will be sharing that one in another video. I might have to take a pause depending on how things go as far as with my mother. I did have to cancel my physical and occupational therapy yesterday because I was in Winchester and a long ways away from Lexington. So unfortunately I don't have any update video on that other than it seems like I've reached a new phase with my own neuropathy, and there's more tingling in my senses. And the next time I see my mother, my grandmother won't be there. And I will be able to say some things to her that Granny Race may or may not appreciate, but I know Mom would love. And that includes whispering in her ear, "You've survived too much in order to let go now." And the way I would phrase it is I don't curse on this channel, but because my mother appreciates that she taught me to speak fluent curse, and that was even before being in the Marines. So, if she were awake and alert, it would put a smile on her face. But Granny, on the other hand, would not appreciate that. Well, and I do appreciate the people that I've been talking to about this, and I've been trying to be the strong big brother for my little brother, who's actually borne more of the brunt of this than I have, because he lives with her. Or more appropriately, as Mom was phrased it, she lives with him. He's been a rather responsible one in the house for years now. And because of Mom's other health issues, she has not been able to do as much for herself as she would like to. So, I hope that this video finds you, all of you, having a much better day than I have had in the last 48 hours. It has been rough. And twice in the last 2 days, I found myself crying about this. And I'm a big enough man to admit when something has caught me that vulnerable. And even now that I think about it, I may cry again over the fact that that game that I mentioned, and how there wasn't a squeeze pack. And no matter how this goes, I always appreciated that little game. Even as an adult, we would play that game with each other. And it still put a smile on Mom's face, and it still made her laugh. And I want that game back. I want that little moment back. Again, I hope this video finds you in much better shape than I am right now. And I honestly hope you guys have a good day, and I'll update you as soon as I know something else.